hopefully these pictures help reinforce and clarify so here's Griffith on trail. The trail looks like I am.
I mean, not a bit, but you can head up on the tour.
Give your story. Oh, okay, like we said before. Oh, it's not a messy trail. Oh, okay.
You should be okay with it.
Yeah, that one was hard the first week, I'm sure.
All depends on the signal. Let's go. Eric, can I get a mic
Make
check
sure
there?
that Chris is ready.
Okay. Super special mic check for Chris. Okay, you got it. We're ready to roll.
Pretty much. Let me just start the signal and I'll be ready to go. I have a signal for the moment, Stacey.
Chief, you're on this one. So, somewhere in the middle, or is that everybody? Is that everybody you want to see?
Where's Jim Seeley? Jim Seeley, is he here?
Who's he here?
He's with Lee Canyon.
Oh, this is yes. They want a Lee Canyon. Lee Canyon.
Oh, hey, just give him a couple
All right.
seconds here to.
Yeah, get news 13 going.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
If I'm in front of him, I look taller.
As we got to go tallest, shortest to tallest.
Yeah, I think I'm losing this battle.
Just whenever you're. Who's good? All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Douglas. I'm the Assistant Fire Chief with Mount Charleston Fire. I'd like to thank everybody for coming up. We've had a lot of work that's been going on, obviously, since the last 2 months. So I'm going to get right to it. We're going to start with our partners that have been doing a lot of this work. And the first person we have is going to be Mario Gomez with Nevada Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Chief Douglas, and thank you all for making the time to be here with us this morning. The Nevada Department of Transportation is very pleased to announce that State Route 156, Lee Canyon Road, will be the first road to reopen to the traveling public at 6 p.m. today. State Route 157, Cow Canyon Road, will be open on Friday, November 3rd, and State Route 158, Deer Creek Road, will be open on Friday, November 10th. These three highways endured significant damage during the flooding caused by Tropical Storm Hilary. And despite the numerous challenges in planning and construction, the emergency repairs for each road will be completed on schedule. NDOT extends its gratitude to the Mount Charleston community. Thank you for your patience. We also appreciate the valuable collaboration efforts with Mount Charleston Fire Department, Clark County, the Nevada State Police, the Metropolitan Police Department, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Division of Emergency Management. Thank you as well to those who have worked on or who continue to work on the restoration. Thank you, Wholesome and Las Vegas Paving and your subcontractors and the many utility companies. Without your efforts of working long hours and putting our community's interest in the forefront, restoring of the Mount Charleston community would have been a much larger challenge for all of us. I'm now handing the podium off to Corey with the Las Vegas Valley Water District.
Good morning. Thank you guys for being here today. Let me first say that I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to be here. Also very appreciative of the patience of all of the residents and appreciative of the partnership of all of the stakeholders here. Our work continues. We were able to make some significant progress this week in getting water service restored to Old Town. On Monday, we were able to deliver the good news to residents that water service has been restored on Aspen, Yellow Pine, and Ski Chalet, or portions of Aspen, all of Yellow Pine and Ski Chalet. Our work continues, and right now we are working to restore water service to Aspen. Hopefully we'll be able to get that done through the end of this week into early next week. We'll begin flushing the system, connecting the homes on Aspen to the new pipeline, begin water quality testing this weekend, and hopefully have service restored into next week. So again, thank you for the patience of everybody in the community as we work to get the service restored and to continue to make significant progress. I will now introduce Deb McNeil with the U.S. Forest Service.
Thank you, Corey. And good morning, everyone. I'm Deb McNeil. I'm the area manager for the Spring Mountains National Recreation Area, which is part of the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest. And that is a mouthful. It is an exciting day, and I think you can all see that the partners, how much we have done. And I am excited to announce that we are updating our closure order, and that 99% of the Spring Mountains National Recreation Area will be reopened. Which is great news. And we will be posting that updated closure order with associated maps and some additional detail tomorrow morning. And it does go into effect tonight at midnight. Hopefully we won't have a lot of visitors out there though. We have been racing the clock, and I think the biggest picture here is the greater good of, we have freezing temperatures. We've already had some freezing temperatures. We have snow. So everyone working on all of this infrastructure and lands has been racing the clock and trying to deconflict with each other, which has been a challenge. And we have talked at least once a day with all of us for the past 70 days. And that's a lot. So I just kudos to all the partners, because everything is interconnected up here, as you know, and we're going to be open again for winter season. That said, while the vast majority is going to be reopened, it is sad to say there will be some sites that are going to be closed, and the closure order will be for a 2-year period. Those sites that are closed are hard closed generally because they're kind of gone. Someone yesterday gave me the quote of the site formerly known as the trail where Mary Jane Falls was. It is not there. There's not a trail, there's a cavern and a canyon. So the goal at this point going forward is to keep in mind that those areas that are closed because it's not accessible. There is not a trail there. The drainages are damaged and unstable at this point. And so while we go forward, we're going to be assessing, pursuing funding, and trying to find the best way to rebuild and in many cases reroute the trails, because the destination is the waterfalls, right? But we can't get there from where we used to get there. So that's going to take a little bit of time and some engineering, and then of course we're pursuing funding, both disaster release and Southern Nevada Public Management Act funding. So that was a big word. We are going to be opening the areas, and of course the road construction is going to restrict some access. So we're hoping, so tomorrow we will be opening the Old Mill picnic area. It normally would be seasonally closed, but we're going to go ahead and open it. And the Sawmill Trailhead and associated picnic area in Lee Canyon. Next Friday we'll be able to open the Visitor Gateway and Kyle and Fletcher View. So that's a campground and picnic area that are open year-round, and the majority of our trails. So I think the biggest thing is just please be patient. Sites will be open, and as soon as you're accessible, and then hopefully we can help enforce the closures with keeping the people safe so that Mount Charleston Fire and Metro Search and Rescue can actually get in and help as needed. So. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jason, Chief.
Thank you, Deb. I just want to reiterate, too, on behalf of Mount Charleston Fire. So those areas that are closed, my staff has assessed those areas. So if people are going to go and break those closure orders, it's going to be very hard for us to get in there and get people out of there. Like Deb said, the trails are very damaged to the point that 2 years to repair. That's a long time. I've walked a lot of those damaged trails with my staff just to see if someone does get back there. It's going to be very hard for us to get there, as well as Metro too. A lot of that's going to be helicopter operation. So I've just asked the public, as we're sending this message out, please be respectful of those closures. Don't go back there. It's just one of those areas that it's going to be hard if you go back there for us to rescue you. Another thing I'd like to say, I'd like to thank all of our partners behind me here. It's been incredible to watch the work. It's been a very safe working environment with the amount of trucks that have been going up and down the highways. It's been incredible to watch, honestly, on the fire side. Just the amount of equipment, NDOT, their contractors, it's very incredible to see how much work's been done in this short period of time. And with that, we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. So if we have any questions. I'm gonna defer that to Deb, and I believe there is, but she can give you more information on exactly what those fines look like.
Hi, yes. So the closure order language is the same. That's in the Code of Federal Regulations, and it's a maximum of $5,000 per individual or $10,000 per group for willful violations, as well as could be up to 6 months in jail. So I think it's important to note the closures are not about the fines and the funding. It's about people's safety. And so again, the having folks in there where you can't get to it. Some of these are accessible, they're wilderness, so wilderness by designation by Congress is not supposed to have any kind of human mechanized, motorized type things, so it's an incursion into the wilderness. For example, as we go in and we've cleared so many trails, but my folks have had to go in with crosscut saws. You can't use a chainsaw in a wilderness area. It's considered an incursion, and it's not So in an emergency, you can do that, but we try not to. It wasn't considered an emergency to open a trail, but we've had folks come down from other parts of the forest just to help us get those trails cleared so that those logs aren't in the middle and you actually have a safe way to get through. So again, the closure is for the public's safety. It's not stable, and hopefully some of you will be able to see a little bit of those drainages as well. So thanks.
The 2-year time frame to rebuild, how did you guys land?
So 2 years is kind of the standard for a non-emergency order. When you first do an emergency and when we don't know, you do it with an open-ended date, which I know. And then at that point, we go to a 2-year closure, which seems firm. I will say there's hopefully some roads that are washed out and that we think maybe by next spring, pre-fire season, that we'll be able to get in and repair. And then we're assessing and obviously going to, as we already have, prioritizing the popularity of the trail and the area to try to fix first what we could. So if it's not that much of a popular trail, we didn't prioritize it. Thankfully, we've gotten everything that we can get open, pretty much open. And then we actually have some trails that aren't that popular that we went in and re-signed and added some trailhead signs and things like that so that folks have an option. There's a 6-mile trail off of Lee Canyon that people don't really know about because it wasn't signed well. And so the Catchpin Trail, it's very great, high elevation and arduous. So hopefully we'll be able to send our visitors to places where they can go safely.
My last question for you is, you said that you were going to be searching for funding over the next 2 years to rebuild, so how much do you think it's going to cost to rebuild those areas?
My guess, because of the instability in some of the areas, is it's probably a $25+ million project. So the agency's going to pursue disaster funding that would come down. There's also road funding that can come in for certain roads. And then the SNPLMA, if anyone's from town knows, but the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act appropriation for both the Bristlecone and the Cathedral Rock Trail. So we're going to pursue funding from any avenue we can, but obviously funding is important, but also in some drainages, it's going to be hard to know how to rebuild a sustainable trail in an area that's still kind of an active drainage. And so we're not really sure where the water's going to go. We know it's spread a lot of material and it's alluvial, and we want to make sure that whatever we build next is something that'll be here hopefully for the long term. Great question. So starting on Kyle up, it's Cathedral Rock Trail, it's about 6 miles. Echo and Mary Jane Falls, and a portion of Trail Canyon that's a little confusing, but the portion that's accessible out of Kyle is going to be closed, but the portion in the wilderness is fine. It was up out of the drainage, so you can access it from a different section. Then the Deer Creek picnic area is closed. That'll be, once the highway's open, you'll see it's covered in debris to the highway, basically to the tables are covered in debris and rock, not just debris. And then going over on Lee Canyon, it's the Bristlecone Pine Trail, upper and lower, and Max Canyon Road and the associated dispersed areas. And then we have some roads that are here between us and Angel Peak that are generally off-highway roads, dirt roads, very high clearance level, but they are blown out with like channels in the middle of them. So those are closed, and the hope is we'll be able to get those fixed next year. So, and we do have these details, and we'll try to get you guys a map with an associated list for tomorrow. I'm going to say 2 years, maybe more, and I know that's not what people want to hear, and maybe a miracle will happen, but we're going to have to find another place for it. So it's like trying to get out of the drainage where now the water is going to come no matter what. We can't stop that from downhill. So putting it up and out, and that reroute is going to take some thought, right, and some surveys, and then the funding to rebuild it. So it's not as easy as even just going in and doing a repair like we have on the other trails. Okay. Anybody else has a question for?
Any other questions? Yeah, absolutely. Good.
Seemingly after the storm, some of the areas were very quick to get reconnected to water. You just mentioned that there's still an area or some areas that
Right now, it's Old Town. Access was the biggest thing. We didn't have access to be able to get to where we needed to in order to be able to identify what the problems were in order to fix the problems. Right now, there are about 30 to 40 properties without water. We'll be getting those restored, like I said, into next week. Not all of those properties are occupied with homes, but right now it's about 30 to 40 people, and those are the last folks that are remaining to have water service restored.
Can you maybe explain why was it so much easier to connect the other areas?
Again, it was access. Just the extensive amount of damage to Old Town was really tragic, but there were sections of pipeline that were completely washed out, meters that were gone, and so as we had access to be able to identify what the problems were, increased access to be able to fix the problems came along as well.
So in the meantime, how have the people in that area been getting potable water?
There's a water tank that's there at the near Old Town where they are able to have access to water. We delivered bottles of water that were available at the hotel, and residents there's a hotel room where they have access to be able to take showers and do those things that we provided. Yep. Yes. We're cautiously optimistic.
All right, any other questions? Good. Yeah, absolutely, Mario.
Morning.
A couple of months ago, you were mentioning how you were anticipating the long road ahead to fix these roads. You did mention also that there were going to be some differences in how you were approaching the rebuild just to keep them sustainable for any, other future potential storms. So can you talk to us about if you do anything new fixing them?
Absolutely. For example, on State Route 157 and 156, we've armored the shoulders with large boulders, and then we grouted the gaps between the boulders with concrete, so that in the future, if we do get a similar storm event, that the shoulders or the road will not wash away as easily as before. So we've also upgraded our drainage system for storm sewer systems. So instead of the 18-inch diameter corrugated metal pipes that we have used in the past that were existing there before from decades of when the road was built, we've upgraded them to 30-inch to 36-inch diameter pipes. So we are allowing for flows to be more freely through the area, flow more freely through the area, so that we don't get the whirlpools and stirring around and standing water that usually creates the damage on our roads. So.
And then I know that you guys got a $500,000 Federal Highway Administration grant to help fix some of these roads. How important was that?
Well, working with FHWA has been a tremendously great relationship. We've worked with them in the past on many other disasters of this type. So right now we're compiling all of our costs, and then once we compile the cost, then we submit that information to the Federal Highway Administration, and then we talk about reimbursement. So there are some expenses that originally there's a cost difference between what was originally there, because they will only pay for that versus the upgrades that we've done. And so there's that dialogue between us and them about that. So.
So I know you said that you're compiling the information. Is there any estimate of how much it took to refix?
The entire endeavor has been around $11 million. Yes.
That's with the upgrade?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and conclude the briefing here. We're going to have Justin from INDOT come up. He'll go over kind of the details of the drive tour, I believe.
Yeah, so for everybody that would like to get a tour of a couple of areas, what we should do is have everybody line up facing this way with their vehicles. We'll have the Forest Service lead, and then I will follow up at the end. So we'll probably be about 35, 40 minutes. We'll only be able to make a couple of stops, but hopefully we'll get to see some of the progress that's made, but also see some of the damage that's still left to fix some of the trail sites.
With that, I want to thank everyone for coming, and enjoy your tour there. Thank you.